Welcome in everybody to episode 30 of JD's Empire Sports Talk. Episode 30, I can't believe it already. I know we've been doing it since December, so it's been a long time, but time is flying, and I'm glad everyone's following along. I know TikTok and Instagram's doing really, really well with the views. We're trying to get YouTube up a little bit, but I know sometimes it's a lot for people to sit there and watch somewhere from 20 to 30 minutes. But if you have the time, we really appreciate if you can do that because getting those views up on top of the social media, like the other social media outlets, would be very, very nice. And a lot coming up in April. I know it's the beginning of April here. So we'll do the rundown quickly here, like we usually do to start off the episode. So today will be just strictly Mets. You know, they played 6 games. I have a lot to talk about. A lot has happened in 6 games already, which is something I definitely thought it wouldn't be as much, not drama, I would say, just things that have happened. I didn't think that would be this much that I have written down, but it's the Mets. They love to keep everyone on their toes, and that'll be fun to talk about here. Next episode later in the week will be Knicks and Rangers. Knicks have been playing really, really good lately without Brunson, and he should be back very soon. I would say next week. He really wants to make a push to play. I know they have a few other guys injured, so that hopefully they can get back to full strength. A nice surprise has been DeLon Wright, who I want to talk about as well. Rangers making a couple of moves, especially with their young Gabe Peralt is now with the big club and he's playing. So that'll be fun. We'll talk about that later in the week and check in on their playoff hopes because they're in it, but they're not in it just because the games played. They can very easily fall out of it because they have a lot of games. They have more games played compared to those other teams fighting for the spot. But you never know; they win and other teams lose. You never know what can happen. So we'll stay tuned with that. But next week we'll probably do the same thing, just Mets strictly, and then Knicks and Rangers, and then maybe sprinkle in St. John's. We'll lay off of the Jets for a little bit longer. Probably the week after, maybe we'll have Ryan back. Maybe the week after that, we'll see, and definitely the week of the draft. So we'll play it by ear. CT will be back as well. Some other things may happen with the show after May, so I want everyone to just stay tuned for that. We may be expanding a little bit, which something's got to be worked out, but it may happen. But with that being said, let's kick off this episode. Of course, episode 30. So the Mets right now are at 3-3. I never really talked about them. This is the first episode so far, strictly just me, because I know I talked baseball with CT both times. But I think it's necessary every week to have a weekly check-in, see how the Mets are doing. Right now, like I said, 3-3. They lost 2 out of 3 in Houston. Very easily could have swept them. Then against the Marlins, they won 2 out of 3 and very easily could have lost 2 out of 3. So that's something that I think that the play is a little uneven right now. Maybe it's the nerves of certain guys. I know it comes to mind Vientos looks like he's trying to say like last year wasn't a fluke. He's trying to do a little too much. So that he got to just slow down, slow the game. It'll come to him. He's a great hitter. It doesn't matter where he bats in the lineup, he'll hit. So I think that he needs to just chill out a little bit and just let the game come to him. Brett Beatty, not someone I'm a fan of, and he's not really making a case for me to like him. He's not hitting. He made a little bit of a mistake earlier against the Marlins at second base. I know it's an adjustment. He's a big guy and trying to play a position that's very, very tough for a big guy to play. So I think that's those two guys that come to mind right away. I think just need to take a step back and just relax and let the game come to them. I know Beatty is going to get plenty of more opportunity than he probably thought he would, but then McNeil went down. They needed that lefty bat that could play second base, and he's the guy for it right now. I would not be shocked if he keeps struggling. They pull the trigger, bringing someone else up, or just strictly go to Acuna playing. Because Acuna's defense is great. Besides, I know the first game he took a ball and launched it in the dugout, but after that, he's been really good defensively. And the bat's coming around a little bit, getting some good hits. Uh, Speed all over the bases. He can run. He can do all that good stuff. So Beatty really got to lock in soon because I wouldn't be shocked if he strictly just becomes off the bench type of guy, even though he's getting starts for now. But let's move to the pitching staff, and then we'll move back to the main part of the like certain guys in the lineup. But I think we should talk about the rotation first. We'll go through each starter so far, and I think I can give a little grade or maybe just a word to describe. They have Clay Holmes for average. Opening day kind of got hit around a lot. Wasn't throwing a lot of strikes, and when he was getting hit. But I think that was just first game jitters. Second start against the Marlins, kind of the same thing. Not as much because obviously the Marlins are not a great team, but he didn't get helped out by his defense. He had a chance of getting a golden opportunity. of a guy up out at the plate. Vientos took that and just I don't know where he threw that. That looked like maybe he slipped out of his hands. We haven't given him the benefit of the doubt. Something happened with that one, but it didn't work out in his favor. Clay Holmes 4 2/3, basically both times. I think that Mendoza doesn't want to stretch him too much, and also if he's in trouble a little bit in that fifth inning, which is probably if he's given up some walks and hits, it's probably the third time around the order. I think that's something that he doesn't want him to face too much right now. And I know people are saying, "Oh, you paid for him to be a closer. He's just doing an extended version of more innings of what he did as a closer." But I think Holmes will be fine. A lot of upside. I know what he did in spring training was definitely not possible over an entire season. It's just never going to happen like that. Next guy, Tyler McGill. Yes, he started game two. It was a little bit of a shock coming out of spring, but he earned a spot. He did really, really well against Houston. Pitched five good, really good innings. Then he got into that sixth inning. He got saved, but I think that even in that sixth inning, he showed that he can get through that part. Next start, hopefully against the Blue Jays, he can get to that next level. Starting on Friday, and I know the Blue Jays probably aren't as deep offensively as Houston, so he won't have to work as much. But he just needs to throw strikes, and it looked like he was more confident in all of his pitches, which is something that we couldn't say last year and probably the year before that. The only time, honestly, that he's looked confident to me is when he comes out of the pen, and right now the Mets don't have that luxury to do that with him. But I think that could be is better suited for him eventually. But for now, if he's going to start, he's going to do whatever, and he'll figure it out. I think he threw pretty well in that situation and did a good job. Next guy, Griffin Canning, started game three against Houston as well. I think he was really impressive. They showed his pitch splits from last year. Totally scrapped. I'm pretty sure it was the curve, maybe. He scrapped one or two of his pitches, where the other night he didn't use it at all. He threw a slider more than half the time, and it was nasty. So I think the emphasis on him was get him in the lab here with Hefner and all the good coaches we have. Let him keep throwing his good pitches. That's the thing I love about the Mets, like coaches and just staff in general, especially the catchers. I'll get to them in a little bit. But when you throw one pitch at or two or three, one especially like that one pitcher go to. But if you have three pitches that you're really really confident in, and maybe you have one or two other ones that you want to throw, but you're not entirely sure how it's going to go, they'll ease you into that. And I think that's what Griffin Canning is saying. Okay, if my slider is gross like this, I'm not even going to try to throw a curveball. I don't have to. The slider, they're not going to hit it. And he did really, really well. I was very impressed by that, I could say. I thought he was, I know last year he had a 7 ERA, and especially pitching against a team that knew him very, very well. Different game plan he went with, and he looked really good. So hopefully he can keep that up on the weekend as well. And that would be a plus because unfortunately, Sean Manaea has been shut down or pushed back an extra 2 weeks, so that's something that is gonna screw him up a little bit. So Canning's gonna have to be that guy that stays in there for now, because I'm sure him or McGill will be the first ones out when Manaea or Montas at this point comes back, and whoever does better will keep the job. So I know people are automatically saying, "Oh, Canning will just go to the pen, be a lone relief," but I mean, if he's pitching better than McGill, that's not going to be the case. So those two are going to fight it out for that other spot. And moving on to the Marlins series. So the first two games, they went with Peterson and Senga. Usually you just go with your best three in the first series, but they didn't do that, I guess, because of pitch scheduling and everything like that. And with Senga, they want to make sure he has a little bit of a extra off day type of routine. So Peterson started out game one in Miami. First inning wasn't great. After that, excellent. Strikeouts, ground balls, looked like himself. Pretty much of what happened after the first half of last year from the second half into the playoffs. I know he pitched out of the bullpen in the playoffs, but same thing. He was ready to go, attacking the zone. I'm really excited about him. I think if he can get to that ace level um, status, which I think is very possible for him and Manaea, once Manaea comes back, those two at the top, two lefties throwing really, really well is going to be scary. And I think Peterson has that type of stuff over the course of the year to become an ace. And he showed that Monday night. I know it's against the Marlins, so you got to take it with a grain of salt because it's a little. The Marlins aren't too great, but I think Peterson will continue to have great success, and I'm happy that he started out great. No, not really many walks. Yeah, the first inning got the jitters out of the way. After that, he was locked in. Senga, same thing. Didn't start out great. I mean, this was his first legitimate start in a very long time because I know last year he had the one start and then he got hurt, and that was in the middle of the summer, and it kind of wasn't too long in the game, and he got hurt, so I didn't really count that one. And then in the playoffs, the same thing. He couldn't throw very much. There was no point even taking stock into that. But I think same thing with him over the course of the year. He'll get a lot better. I think he's really the X factor because he was great his first year, his rookie year. He was great, and then last year injury, so it's hard to evaluate. So year three of Senga, I'm excited for him as well. So I think overall we could take the rotation and say it has a lot of upside. If they're all rolling the way they definitely showed that they could, they have sky's the limit. But you also had to look at it the other side of if these guys start getting hit around, they're in a lot of trouble. But the bullpen, next thing here, bullpen has been spectacular. Every guy so far, Brazoban, someone that made the team probably because of Nunez not being ready yet. I think he was the last guy to get added. He's been good, really good. He's starting to throw the fastball a lot more. He threw two appearances before the save that he got against the Marlins in Game Three, but the other two appearances were 2 innings each. So it seems like the Yankees, the Mets, want to use him for more than an inning when they have a chance to. But something like the last game, they're like, okay, we have no one left to throw. We got to let him go. We have an off day coming up. I know he threw 2 innings 2 days ago, but he can do it. He can get through an inning, maybe not even an inning, 2 outs, and he'll be fine. Max Kranick, three. I think it's three. He had 3 full innings against the Marlins. I think maybe he got 1 or 2 outs against the Astros, if I remember. He's been looked really really good. Fastball, cutter, slider, everything's looked great, sharp. I think he's a guy that probably would have made the team last year if he didn't get injured, and they could have been very effective out of the pen. 1 year later, I think he'll have the same um, job, and he'll be really, really good at it. Long relief, and he'll throw strikes. Can make spot starts if needed. So I'm very excited for Kranick. Um, Ryan Stanek as well. AJ Minter, I think are those two are in um, the same category. They didn't look great their second time, but the first outing against Houston, they looked really, really good. They'll be fine. I'm not worried about them. Jose Budo, another guy who's looked pretty good. Different roles. He's pitched 2 innings a few times now. I know we tried to get him to a third against Houston, didn't really work out. So I think he's a 2 inning guy, and then take maybe a day or two rest, and he'll be able to bounce back. So the bullpen has a lot of flexibility, and I really like that. I mean, you know what you're going to get from Evan Diaz. So that's another guy you don't really have to count on. Reed Garrett's another like a Budo type player. He can come in for an out if you need him to. He can come in for 2 or 3 innings. So the versatility is really good. I know Danny Young's probably the weak link right now, but he's a second lefty, so they see him as value for that. But I think it's very possible he can be sent down and Nunez can be brought up. They have guys like Budo, like I said, Reed Garrett, Nunez, who can get lefties out as like a lefty could, like a regular lefty could. So I don't think they're really worried about, oh, we only have one lefty in the pen. I don't think that's an issue for them. Let's move to the lineup. The lineup has a lot to be desired so far. I know the Mets has a pitching staff. They haven't really. I don't think they've given up more than 4 runs in a game yet. They've been really solid, and they've bailed out the lineup pretty good so far. They won 3 games. One game, the offense Monday night, they showed up, but besides that, not really too great. Pete Alonso saved them in the last game. The game against Houston they won was just a complete pitcher's duel that they were able to get sneak out a few runs for. So the lineup, I know every year it's the same story. Lindor stinks in April, and it takes some time to get ready, but we need him now. I know he only has 1 or 2 hits. I think maybe two, maybe is it three? Something like that. 1, 2, or 3 hits, not a lot. I'll tell you that. And I think that he needs to get it going really quickly because it's going to affect the lineup as a whole. The one game he didn't play, they scored 10 runs because Marte he batted leadoff and played really, really well. So I think that Lindor needs to get it going. I'm not worried. I just hope he can get it going earlier than he did last year. And right now they can afford to have him slump a little bit, but not too much because they're able to win a few games despite that happening. Another guy, Vientos, I mentioned him before. I don't think he's in a slump. I think he's just trying to do way too much, and he's feeling the pressure. I know, I think it was the other night. Took the C flap and ripped it off his helmet. He wasn't too happy. So they gotta lock in, and Vientos is part of that. Jesse Winker as well. I think he'll come around. He's DHing, so it's very hard. I know he DH only for the Mets last year, but he's a guy that's used to playing the outfield. So I think that's very hard for him, especially in the beginning of the year, to just be like, okay, I'm not playing every day, and then I'm only DHing, so it's hard to get into a rhythm for that. But I think he'll be fine. And then Beatty as well. So all those four are struggling right now, and I think they could break out of it. I have confidence. I'm not going to overreact and start screaming. I know it's only 6 games, and they haven't even been home yet. I think that'll be very very good for them on the weekend. Then Soto and Nimmo, I was saying they're probably doing average right now. Soto started out really nicely against Houston, and then in Miami he didn't play too great. Hopefully, him coming City Field Friday that can get him going with the hometown crowd. That'll be really, really nice. And then Alonso has carried the team pretty much so far. 8 RBIs. He had a grand slam, a three-run homer, and then a double to drive in all of his runs. He has a ton of extra base hits. He's not chasing very much. Very, 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 very encouraged. I think Alonso has something to prove this year. He knows last year was a ton of pressure on him, and he didn't really know how to react to that. So I think that's something that all right, you want to doubt me? Now I got a contract where I can go crazy for a year and leave, and I know the Mets are probably going to look to replace me anyway at first base with Vlad Guerrero. So hey, Alonso wants to stay for a second year, he can. If not, he can go get paid. He's gonna have that type of year. I feel it. He looks locked in really early, which is something we don't always say. And then I just want to give props to the catchers. Luis Torrens has been great. I know someone that's usually considered a backup, and no one really thought much of him besides just catching wise. But his bat has been there. They pinch hit him a few times, and he's been pretty good. So I'm very happy to see that. He's catching a ton of games. He's been in every game and he started 5 of the games. So that's really good that he's able to take on that workload, especially when Singer is the backup and he's a young guy, he's a rookie. So I know he started and he had a double, then he got pinch hit for and taken out and all that, and he's caught a few times at the end of games for defense. But that's a good thing. Mendoza's not afraid to use him. He trusts him with the pitching staff, and he's done pretty well. Got his first hit out of the way. So I got to give props to the catchers. They're doing a great job. And then center field as well. They're playing great defense. Siri is very, very energetic. He brings that energy every time. You saw he scored. He was on third base, ground ball hit to the pitcher, and he scored off of it. I think that's something not a lot of guys in his team will bring all the time. Every night, I don't think that's the case. So that's very good. Taylor playing great defense. I think both of their bats will come along as the season goes on, but overall, just average play so far. I got to take it this way. They started out 0-5 last year. They're 3-3 right now, so I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, they could have been better. Competition wasn't too great, but I think that 3-3 is better than 2-4 or 1-5. So, or even 0-6, of course. So that's a good thing. So they're starting out in a better place, and I think the bats will come along. That last year I know they couldn't hit as well, but the pitching also stuck. So that's a good thing that the pitching is there already, and the bats will come along once the weather gets warmer as well. I mean, I know there was no excuse in Miami or Houston, but just to say that they come in from spring training to that. Just average play overall, but that's pretty much it for episode 30. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in, like I always said. But please go out there on the Instagram, TikTok, leave me comments if I sound like an idiot. Let me know. But I think pretty much well, like I said, stick to the game plan. 2 episodes a week for the most part. Of course, this one with the Mets, Knicks, and Rangers later in the week to get an update on what their playoff hopes, and of course the Knicks are in, but like who they'll face. Brunson update, and if St. John's can bring in any other players. They brought in Bryce Hopkins from Providence as a big transfer, so very encouraged to see what they do. I know a few guys are leaving there as well, so we'll see how the roster looks. But with that being said, I just want to thank everyone one last time, and episode 30 is now over. JD out.